All right, so this is what I'm doing beforehand. While I still had the wheel on and I had a little bit of weight on it, I pull this center nut off. It's a 36 millimeter. That way you don't have to put the pry bar on there and deal with all that to keep it from spinning while you're trying to get it off. Just put the tire on the ground and you're not gonna roll the truck. Here we go. I'm about to knock the studs out. And that's it. But important note, when you're doing this, pull on the lug a little bit, pull it on it a little bit, and it'll pull into the little grooves and hold it. Get it off, you can push it in. But you want to screw it on a reasonable amount, at least a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch or so, because if you don't and you start smacking on it like that, you're just going to strip the threads off the end of your bolt. So you screw it in pretty good. You screw it on there a pretty good amount. So when you hit it, the threads on there will grip and not slip. You know what I'm saying? Well, I thought that I wasn't going to have to do this, but we got to pull this whole bearing out. So we over here now, 15 millimeter, 4 bolts on the backside, pulling them out. I got the 36 millimeter off the front. I'll take that. Thank you. Thank you. And then I'll turn the wheel and so we can get to the other 2. I'd be willing to bet that was the cause of the vibration when I was braking. Wow. Oh, I had one bolt on this passenger side that ended up a little bit stripped, but thank God they had that. I have tools, so the tool that I use is made by Irwin. Looks like this. It's awesome, and the best part about it is it's a 3/8 drive, but I could put a 7/8 socket on it, which I already had because I took the wheels off. And so I used that 7/8 socket with the short extension right there. And that is a extendable ratchet. And so I was able to just put the 2 on, put that in there, and get it off. No problem, even though it was stripped. A little bit of encouraging, but we got the whole thing off. This is what it looks like when you get it off. I knocked those studs out beforehand because it made it a little bit easier in my opinion. So then when I got this out, it was just this, and the rotor fell off pretty much. And so here's a new rotor. I'm gonna put the studs back in and put it back on. This looks pretty simple. Just basically take the square, see the square here, line it up with the square there, and set it down, line up the holes, punch them in. Yep, and there we go. This is something I didn't think about till after I bought the truck. When I went to buy my trailer, I found out that I could get a trailer that has the same bolt pattern as my truck. And so when I went to go buy a trailer, I made sure that my tires from the trailer would fit the truck and vice versa. So when I put these studs in, I brought my spare tire off the trailer in, and I set it in, and they all dropped right through the holes. So all I gotta do is take the hammer and pound them through, and I don't have to worry about adjusting or anything like that. Saves me a little bit of time, and I know I'm not gonna hit anything as I'm banging them through because it's the same bolt pattern. Nice. Well, I don't have a brass punch or anything like that, which is what I normally use, but I'm going to improvise it a bit and use a bolt. And I'm just going to set the bolt head to head, smack the end of it, and drive these babies in. I'm putting them in the same way I would if I was bolting up the wheel. I'm doing 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go across, so then you pull it down straight and everything, just like you would if you was putting the wheel on. Same thing. And then I'm going to see, that doesn't look like it's quite all the way down. Go back, check them, make sure they're all the way down as far as I can get them. And then once I get them all the way in, then we can put it back. I notice when you get them all the way down, you get a little bounce. It bounces a little bit because the energy that you're putting into it is coming right back out. So once you're hitting it with that hammer and you get it a nice bounce coming back, it's in. It's not going any further. And you see, it's nice and tight there. Look at your lugs, your studs. See them all sticking out pretty even. So it's ready to go back on. Yay! Well, I'm not absolutely sure, but I think, in my opinion, by knocking the studs out with it on the truck, I feel like it loosened up all this in here to make it that much easier to get out from the shock of the impact of hitting it. I think. I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, but yeah, that's just what I believe, that knocking the studs out with it on the truck makes it easier to get that bearing out. Whenever I take these apart, I always like to put a nice amount of anti-seize on there, just so if I end up having to take it apart again later, it'll come apart a lot easier. I don't know if you do it or not, but anti-seize is your friend. But I'm not using it on the bolts at all. I'm going to put a little penetrating oil on there, but no anti-seize, because you don't want those to come loose at all. And I'll clean up my rotors prior to putting it on with some brake clean, because it's kind of hard to get to the backside when you have your heat shield there, so, or dust shield. I'm gonna clean it all up, put it all back together, and we can go to the other side.